to say he's a divine human being. So with that being said, let's give Yao Morris, Master Yao, a big round of applause.
Relationships is something we're not. I like to walk and talk, if that's okay with you guys. And also, I was happy that you did the hug thing, because that was really good to feel some energy, get me kind of going. I recognize some faces up in here. I recognize a few faces when I say, wait a minute, these aren't strangers. I recognize her for sure. And some of you I haven't seen in a long, long time, but I recognize the face. Yeah. So it's kind of good. I used to live in D.C. Back in the day, and I haven't seen you since the 90s. Wow, so much has changed.
Yes.
When they were doing the manifestation piece, I think this young lady said something about bliss, or maybe the brother said something about bliss. Who said bliss? Oh, okay, you're in trouble. Because that's one of what we're going to talk about tonight, bliss. And we're going to get there circuitously. I didn't say that right. I tried. I did a little circle thing to help me. It didn't quite help. We're going to talk about divine feminine energy, divine masculine energy, and some innovative ways to bring them together. And the juicy topic we're going to end up talking about is sex, S-E-X. But to get there, and after that, and we don't have a lot of time, we're going to talk about a lot of other things that Tantra plays a part in. And since I first got this information, believe me, I never, ever thought that I would see this much stuff happen with this kind of energy. It's just like absolutely amazing. Because there's law of attraction, you probably all familiar with that. And that plays a special role with Tantra and the whole energy. Because Kundalini and Kundalini enlightenment plays a role with Tantra. When I was doing counseling a few years back, we found two things seem to heal relationships more than anything else. Past life regressions, and when the man and woman seem to be at an impasse, stop talking and just exchange energy. In this way that I'm going to talk about tonight. And even people who thought their relationships couldn't be salvaged, I've seen them salvaged. And we've had men who never really felt an emotional connection with a woman. For the first time through the energy exchange, feel a deep emotional connection with a woman for the first time. We've seen people healing from, physical things like fibroids and stuff like that, but more importantly, heart healing through exchanging energy. And one of the people who taught me this said that men and women hurt more, I don't know what kind of words I can use, but I guess we're all adults, with their reproductive organs, he said it another way, than they do with bullets and money. And he also said, well, we're going to teach you how you can heal with them. And he, it's really powerful stuff. Just a little bit about me and how I came on this path. This is not the main thing that I do, but this demand for it now is kind of like driving this. I'm on this summer we started a certification program because there's been a demand now to teach this to other people so that when I leave the planet, the information that I got doesn't leave with me. There's about 4 of us that have walked this path at the place where I'm at that I know of in this country. So what I've been doing all this year and last year, when I had a chance, was teaching some of the people who've been with me for a few years how to do this stuff. This journey for me, not the Tantra journey, but the journey with relationships started in 1989. In fact, I was telling her the story. I had an experience, I'm not going to get into that, and as a consequence of the experience, I was disobedient and I got punished. And as a consequence of the punishment, I know he's thinking I can. As a consequence of the punishment, I decided to, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do what I was going to do. Basically, make a long story short, I spent 7 years, people coming to me going to them, and getting their knowledge. It was mostly older people who were dying. They had nobody to pass it on to. I talked to them as long as I could, wrote it down. That was called the Amara Project, and that was the impetus of this book. I wasn't a very good writer at the time, and a lot of people say that the book is kind of wordy, a little dense, not well written, but it's become kind of a classic, and you know, I look back on it now with a sense of pride because I actually went through it, and it's like, you know, it's kind of like a trial by fire, because everything in the book I had to experience so I could write about it. It wasn't pretty all the time. But that's how I got started with this. And while I was on this journey, stuff would happen to me. I was in Africa one time, and this old lady, I was sent to her. I didn't know why I was sent to her. I was sent to her, she was expecting me, I got there, and she made me wait like 2 hours while she was working with this woman. And I didn't know what she was doing. I thought she was like a moral shaman. And what she was doing was reflexology on the breast. Never seen that done before. And finally, she got it, you know, I had a chance to hear her. She started teaching me breast reflexology and other reflexology. She was basically telling me stuff that's like, this stuff has been here forever. You know, you just gotta dig it up. So I had experiences like that. And so that brings us to tonight. Since then, I've done a lot of stuff. But what has happened is I've tried to get practical with the stuff. What I found out from the days when you were doing it is that number one, most men and women are living in fear when it comes to relationships and sex, the conjunction of spirituality with sex. Most of us are living in fear. It's kind of a taboo subject, the combination of the two, because most people, you know, in mainstream society really have taken it one way. Okay, so when you start talking about the other aspect of it, people aren't quite really ready for that all the time. And it's really a part of our lives that really is kind of close to most of us, you know what I'm saying? It's really kind of close to us. It's something that's really close to our heart. So, in my practicality, what I've done is whenever I came in contact with a new discipline, I merged it with Tantra. So now, what I have done, and when I say I, there's a we behind that, because a lot of people help me with this. So I'm saying I, but I mean we. So I've learned how to do Tantra so that Tantra allows you to put energy into your law of manifestation. Because your brains are always broadcasting. And so three of the things that we do with Tantra now, the major one we find is like healing and communication. It's like when you find that you're having issues with communication with your mate, you communicate with pleasure. I'll talk about that a little bit. Then the second thing is, you know, pleasure. Because we need pleasure in our lives. And the third thing is like spiritual evolution, to allow you to raise your kundalini and experience heightened states of awareness, which all of us, I think, at some point in time in our life should want to do. When you're doing law of manifestation, yes, ma'am.
Okay, the second one, you said pleasure, and then spiritual evolution was the third.
Let me go back and say it in a different way. Communication and healing is kind of the same thing. I don't know what the best term to put it into, but like making a connection with the other person, where talking and normal mating doesn't necessarily do it.
You want a heart connection?
Yeah, exactly. The conduit. The same thing that animals do in the wild when they mate for life. There's a conduit that attaches to the fourth layer of the chakra, to the heart chakra, between the two. Exactly. I'm trying not to use those kind of terms and stuff, just to kind of keep it really regular. But Basically, what I'm trying to say is, I'm going to talk about some intimate type subjects, but there's a much wider use for it. I want to make that clear from the beginning, and I'm going to touch on that, and I think you're going to see how we can do some of that, because we're not going to have time to get into the details too much. But I want to let you know what exists out here. And some of you probably have already, walked down some of these paths a little bit, Law of attraction, very quickly. I don't think they really put everything out there when they did The Secret. Because what we have discovered is that you need energy for things to manifest. And the way that we found the greatest amount of success when people sort of get stuck with their manifestation technique is to use Tantra energy either through no touching exchange of energy or through touching exchange of energy at the same time that you're doing the law of manifestation process. That's all I'm going to say on that, unless we have questions later. One of the other things that is very, 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 powerful right now is altering the subconscious mind. The technologies for going in. So back in those days, we had to just tell you, and in the book, we give you this long, drawn-out process of dealing with your counterfeit personality and how to get back to your real DNA. Because you all got a DNA, and most of us are not vibrating with our DNA, and that's stopping our manifestation, stopping our health. You should have an energy signature that matches your DNA.
What is what you're vibrating with?
What we've learned based on our life, our experiences, what we've become, that's not necessarily matching with the template that was in our DNA. So the closer we get back to that original self, the more powerful our broadcast and our ability to be healthy and to choose and all stuff like that. I'm going to talk about energy projection as the last thing I'm going to talk about. But to do energy projection, the more that day you can vibrate like the original vibration, the more powerful your projection can be. Okay? Healing. When people are wounded from not living the life they want to live, or, I don't have to tell you all of the psychological and emotional things that can wound you. This thing has just proved to be just major in terms of healing, men healing women, women healing men. Men, we do what we call table work, where the woman's on the table, and you project the energy into an auric field, and you break up the stuff that's there. And the woman can do the same thing. And we've just had a situation, we've just had it so that it's like, it just basically goes in and sort of puts this, I don't know, I put it on vibrate. Can you not do it? When they find out I'm in DC, I get the calls. What was the last thing I said?
You're talking about how to heal.
Right. So, women heal the men, men heal the women. When you first do it, it usually lasts 2 or 3 weeks, but it actually allows you